Oh, hello. How are you? This is a quick one. So, hiking, summertime, UVA exposure, and you. Okay? The number one cause of hospitalizations during the summer is heat stroke. Heat stroke, like many diseases, is hard to feel when it's coming on if you're not used to hot climates. Okay, so many people, and last year it was like 118,488. It, not to be exact or anything, which is a lot. So it makes it really difficult to like teach people about those symptoms during the summer when people think they're like very fit. Because I've noticed that it'll happen mostly to people that are very athletic. People who aren't very athletic, when they start to overheat, they're like, I'm done. I gotta go. So it's people that are usually a little bit more on the fit side that this happens to, because they are used to pushing themselves. And when you push yourself in the summer and you have heat stroke, you just collapse, right? Like your body's overheating, and you can't hear the alarm bells going off because all the blood is like rushing to your head. So people will just pass out. And that's dangerous if you pass out on a hike or on a trail, because people have to get you out of that area. Then they have to get help to you in that area. Like, it just presents a number of issues. Most people don't deal well with emergencies. So, it's very scary to put your safety in the hands of others at times, especially with something like that. So my tips, especially being from Arizona, are as follows. I will never, ever, under any circumstances, accept or offer an invitation to anyone from the hours of noon until 6 p.m. And the reason for that is those are the times when, number one, your sun exposure is going to be the most extreme. Like, you're going to get a sunburn even if you have sunscreen on. And number two, it hurts my eyes. So that's why I don't, like to do a lot of stuff during those times. But it can damage your eyes, can damage your skin. And when your eyes are not seeing clearly and you're sunburned, like, your senses are dulled, so you're not able to pick up on your other like warning systems in your body. So what will often happen with hikers, I don't know. Let's talk about what I'd want to happen. So no exercising during those times, and don't accept an invitation or offer an invitation to anyone during those times, just because it is so dangerous. Because of heat stroke, like I said, it just comes on. You feel really lightheaded, and then you just drop like a bag of rocks, and then there's very little you can do. Most of the time, people can like kind of resuscitate themselves, but they're like, they just passed out, and most people have never fainted, so it's a very weird thing across the board. So only exercise in the early morning or the early evening, and not after those times. You do not want to exercise at all, or go on a hike when you cannot see, even if you have a flashlight. A lot of tourists would come to Sedona and be walking around at night. A lot of snakes come out at night. Other animals are out at night. There's a whole nocturnal world out there. So if you want to avoid getting bitten or hurting any animals, just don't go out during those times. Yeah. And then if you do go out, you have to take a gallon of water per person, because if you take 1 gallon to share, that probably isn't enough. Because if you do share, you might end up getting heat stroke and passing out. And it's like a fine line. Some people will be overhydrated, and I don't think that really exists, but that can lead to symptoms of heat stroke. So you just got to be really careful. You got to wear your hat. You cannot hike during the day at all during the summer. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you're doing. It's just that it's not a good idea. I can get really disoriented walking back from the library at around like 10:30, 11, and even that feels way too late. Yesterday I took a walk like at 2, like, you know, this time of day is just a little too hot for me. But if you're getting, you know, I can see how it would work if you're wanting to just get all your vitamin D in one go. If you're doing like a half hour, you can get away with that. If your activity level is pretty high, you know, but you have to be really careful with those rules. Never hike alone, never. Always go with a group, and hopefully an even numbered group. Odd numbered groups, you know, usually people will clump up and then there'll be someone left behind. So make it an even number. If you take pets, make sure you bring extra water for them. Park in a shady spot. Bring an umbrella. Wear a hat. I always wear long sleeves, and that's a trick from the desert, because A, I don't want to sunburn, and B, it helps insulate you. When you get that first like layer of sweat, it cools you down. And people say that I'm gross for that, but like it does. So like if you are hot, you know, and all your heat is escaping from your core, and then you're like constantly sweating, you might as well use that sweat to cool you rather than just let it evaporate.